Imagine like distilling the absolute gold from hundreds, maybe thousands of business books. Not just the theory, but the actual practical stuff, the insights that can, genuinely help you build wealth. So today, we're doing a deep dive. We're going to cut through all the fluff, basically give you a shortcut to being really well-informed in business, throw in some surprising facts, maybe a little humor, keep you hooked. And look, we're not just summarizing here. We're giving you unique, tested solutions, insights that often get buried or just, missing from the usual predictable content. This is all about practical implementation, stuff that actually works.
Yeah, and what's really cool is we're drawing on some incredible material from a creator who's done the heavy lifting. Seriously, he's a millionaire businessman himself. He actually read, get this, 997 business books just to pull out what truly matters. It's pretty rare, honestly, to find someone who goes that deep before sharing. And the killer insight, the real core idea, it's that, most business books have great concepts, but the valuable stuff, the gold, is often buried under so much filler, so much waffle. The real power comes when you cut through that. Focus on 4 key areas that are all connected, starting with no money, selling anything to anyone, marketing your business effectively, and managing your money like the top 1% do.
Okay, so that's the core framework.
Exactly. And this isn't just theory. It's about practical steps, filling in the gaps you usually find. It gives you a roadmap that's genuinely, new-sounding, because it's proven and practical. This deep dive, it's going to give you concrete steps, a fresh perspective, probably unlike anything you usually come across.
So let's break that down. What does this actually mean for you listening? Well, you'll get a really clear picture of the actionable steps you need to build, to scale a successful business, and delivered in a way that's immediately useful. I have to say, I personally love this creator's deep dives. They always cut straight to the actionable core, makes complex ideas super clear, super practical. And you might be thinking, okay, after this, is there anything else I even need to watch on this? And we promise this is comprehensive. We're diving deep into these 4 pillars. You'll get a complete practical framework. Keep you engaged, definitely won't be boring. And later on, we'll even touch on a really powerful all-in-one platform for online businesses, something that can help unlock that predictable recurring revenue. Okay, let's kick off with that first crucial area then, how to start a business with 0 money, which has got to be one of the most Googled questions ever, right?
Yeah, for sure. And step 1, maybe counterintuitive, is finding your strengths. Society, it conditions us to focus on weaknesses, fix this, fix that. But the book Strength Finder 2.0, it says you can be 10 times more successful just by leveraging what you're already good at.
Yeah.
Follow the path of least resistance, basically.
Path of least resistance. Okay.
Yeah. There's this equation. Talent multiplied by investment equals strength. Think about Tiger Woods in golf. If you took him and me at, say, 13, gave us the exact same coaching, his inherent talent, that talent multiplier, means every hour he practices is like 10 of mine in progress. It's just way higher.
Wow. Okay, so focus where you have that natural edge.
Exactly. Think of weaknesses as an expense to minimize. You can always find people to compensate for those. Networking helps there. How to win friends and influence people has great techniques for that. So, a question for you listening. Have you been trying to succeed by fixing weaknesses or by really leaning into your innate strengths?
That's a really good question. Okay, so you've identified your strengths. Step 2, coming up with the actual idea. How do you find one with an advantage?
Right, because this is where it gets really interesting. Most failing companies, they just couldn't outrun the competition. So 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel, the guy who sold PayPal to eBay for $1.5 billion. His team went on to start YouTube, LinkedIn, huge stuff.
Yeah, the PayPal mafia, right?
That's them. And Thiel's secret, billion-dollar ideas come from betting on a contrarian truth. A real truth about future human behavior that people either aren't aware of yet or maybe don't want to admit.
Contrarian truth. Give me some examples.
Okay, thanks Steve Jobs. Believing we didn't want a keypad on our phones when BlackBerry was, king. Or Uber, believing we'd actually get into strangers' cars. Netflix, thinking we'd binge watch shows instead of renting DVDs, all seemed crazy at the time.
Ah, okay, I see. Going against the grain.
Exactly. If you're struggling with this, start with why can be helpful too. But finding that contrarian angle, that gives you a massive head start, avoids competition early on.
Okay, so you know your strengths, you've got this contrarian idea, now you need a plan, right? Otherwise, you're just, like you said, run around like a headless chicken.
Precisely. And business model generation, this was a huge effort. 470 entrepreneurs, professors, CEOs from 45 countries. Their big thing. Business plans are often just too text-heavy. Visuals are way more powerful. So they broke down any business into 9 essential building blocks, visual blocks.
9 building blocks. Can we make that practical? Like with an example?
Yeah, let's ditch the lemonade stand cliche. Let's imagine Timmy's membership builders.
Okay, so Timmy sees that generic platforms don't really cut it for, say, big educational YouTubers. So his value proposition, creating custom personal membership platforms specifically for them.
Okay. Niche focus, who are his customers?
Customer segments. YouTubers over 1 million subs. That's his target. Channels. How does he reach them? Email, DMs, maybe even like a well-crafted physical letter. You'd be surprised. Even big creators are reachable with a strong value prop. Someone on their team will see it. Right. Persistence pays off. What up relationships?
Customer relationships. Maybe he starts by doing one for free, builds a case study, offers discounts for referrals. Think give and take here. Focus on giving value first. Revenue streams. Okay, how does he make money? Maybe a percentage cut. Say 10% from 10,000 members paying $5 a month. That's $5,000 a month right there, recurring.
Nice. What else is in those 9 blocks?
Key resources, his website maybe. Key activities, outreach, building the platforms. Key partnerships, maybe a developer he works with. And crucially, cost structure. He has to calculate his costs, make sure the numbers actually work before he dives in, avoids that future disappointment.
That makes so much sense seeing it laid out like that with Timmy. Okay, next big hurdle. The MVP, minimum viable product. So many people build something for months then. Crickets. Nobody wants it. How do you avoid that, especially with no cash?
Yeah, that's the harsh truth, isn't it? The lean startup talks all about the MVP. And the key thing is, it doesn't have to cost money. Think about the Dropbox founder. He made a fake video demoing the product before it was even built.
No way, really?
Yep. Just video. It blew up. His waiting list went from 5,000 to 75,000 people overnight. Then he used that proof to get investors. Nowadays, you can use free tools, AI, ChatGPT Millionaire, has some ideas there. But the point is, if you need funding and have no money, you need undeniable proof people actually want your thing first.
Proof of demand. Okay, so plan, idea, MVP. Great. But none of it matters without execution.
Right.
Getting it done.
Absolutely. That's often the biggest differentiator. Honestly, most people could probably double or triple their income just by consistently doing what they already know. But they don't put in the work. The 12-week year has a cool concept for this. Break your year into 4 quarters. Treat each like a whole year.
4 years in one.
Sort of. It creates that deadline-driven buzz 4 times a year instead of just, New Year's resolutions fizzling out. It taps into Parkinson's law work, expands to fill the time you give it. Shorter deadlines mean more focus. And if procrastination's your enemy, extreme ownership. Navy SEAL tactics for discipline. Powerful stuff.
Okay, solid advice on getting started. Now, before we jump into how Timmy actually sells his service, you mentioned a tool. Oh yeah, quickly. For anyone thinking about online business courses, memberships, podcasts, coaching, it's super cost-effective, scalable. People make millions. If that sounds like you, check out Kajabi. It's an all-in-one platform. Helps build successful online businesses, unlocks that predictable recurring revenue, which, let's be honest, is the dream, right? Confidence to grow without cash flow stress. Kajabi's great because they don't take a cut. You keep 100% of what you earn. So, if predictable recurring revenue sounds good, and it should, they're doing a free 30-day trial. Go to kajabi.com/mark. That's kajabi.com/mark. Join creators who've made like over $7 billion combined. Okay, now back to the books. How does Timmy sell?
Perfect. Thanks for that. Okay, selling. It's not just for salespeople, is it? It's life. Persuading friends, bosses, maybe even kids for more pocket money. So for Timmy, reaching out to those big YouTubers, what's step one in selling his service? Step one, set the frame. This is critical. Most people fail before they even ask because they don't warm up the other person, make them receptive. Persuasion talks about techniques for this. There's this great story of a consultant. He started joking, well, I can't charge you $1 million for this, right before stating his $75,000 fee.
Huh. Price anchoring with a joke.
Exactly. And apparently after he started doing that, nobody asked for a discount anymore. But it's not just words. Your nonverbals, posture, how you dress, style the man covers this. It's like 55% of communication. So for Timmy, his initial email, his DM, even his online presence needs to project professionalism and value before the pitch. Don't rush setting the frame. It matters.
Okay. Frame set.
Yeah.
How does Timmy build rapport? These YouTubers are busy, high profile.
Yeah, good question. Think about Trump in The Art of the Deal. His habit, 50, 100 calls a day, just staying top of mind, made deals easier. Today's version, building a personal brand online. Gary Vaynerchuk talks about this in Crushing It. Increase those touch points before you try to sell. For Timmy, maybe engage in communities where YouTubers hang out, share valuable insights, show he understands their world. Remember, people do business with people they like and trust, especially cold outreach.
Makes sense. Build that connection first.
Are you?
Okay, frame set, rapport building. Now the persuasion part. How does Timmy convince them his service is the answer?
Right. To sell is. Human says the best way is to attune with them. Really get where they're coming from. There was this experiment, students negotiating a gas station sale. The most successful deals came from students who focused on understanding the seller's thoughts and motivations, not just general empathy. And Pitch Anything points out most people just talk about what they want, what their product does.
Instead of what the prospect is actually thinking or worrying about.
Exactly. They assume the prospect cares as much as they do. Harsh truth. They don't.
So Timmy needs to understand the specific pains of a million-sub YouTuber trying to monetize beyond ads. Then he frames his platform as the solution to those specific headaches, not just listing features.
Okay, attunement. What about turning it from a pitch into more of a collaboration? Can Timmy get the YouTuber to kind of help solve Timmy's problem of finding the right solution for them?
Yeah, you can. Never Split the Difference talks about using calibrated questions. These usually start with what or how. They gently guide the other person's focus onto your problem, making them think about solutions for you.
Give me an example.
Okay, say your landlord raises the rent to $1,700. Instead of arguing, you could genuinely ask, how am I supposed to pay $1,700 a month when I really only budgeted for $1,500? Makes them think creatively. Maybe they'll suggest something or even lower their price. You're valuing their intelligence, asking for help.
Oh, I see. So Timmy could ask a YouTuber. Something like, how are you currently handling engagement with your most dedicated fans? Or what challenges come up when you try to turn that community into, a reliable income stream?
Yeah.
It gets them talking about their problem. And often they'll lead themselves right to Timmy's solution being the answer. Quick tip though, if someone uses this on you, don't let their problem become your problem. And better small talk can help you craft good questions.
That's clever. Okay, so Timmy's done all this work, setting the frame, building rapport, persuading collaboratively. How does he actually close the deal? Get that commitment.
Crucial final step. Never, ever leave a meeting or conversation without a firm commitment. Objections. The Ultimate Guide talks about getting micro commitments, like agreement on a specific next action on a specific date. So Timmy gets the "I'm busy, call me next week" line from the YouTuber's manager.
Yeah, the classic brush off.
Right. He could counter with something like, "Totally understand, my week's packed too. Just to make sure this doesn't fall through the cracks, can we lock in a quick 15-minute chat now? How about Friday at 3:30? Makes it easy to say yes, keeps the momentum, and, a bit of charisma doesn't hurt. Think Harvey Specter in Suits. Interestingly, the charisma myth argues charisma can actually be learned. It's not just something you're born with.
Okay, fascinating stuff on selling. On marketing, Timmy could have the best service, but if no one knows, it's useless. How does he market effectively once he's got those first few clients?
Exactly. Step 1 here. Develop your unique selling proposition, your USP. Why do some businesses just explode? Purple Cow says it's about being remarkable. Marketing has the traditional PS: product, price, place, promotion, positioning. This adds a 6th P, Purple Cow.
Purple Cow.
Yeah, imagine driving past fields of brown cows. Boring, right? You barely notice. But suddenly, a purple cow. You'd stop, take a picture, tell everyone your business needs that. Something so noteworthy, so different, people have to talk about it. So ask yourself, what makes your business unique? What's your purple cow? For Timmy, it's not just membership sites, it's personalized platforms specifically for educational YouTubers that boost engagement and recurring revenue. That's distinct. You see restaurants doing this on TikTok now, right? With really unique dishes, that's their purple cow. And YouTube Secrets has tips if video's your angle.
Got it. Be remarkable. But how does Timmy know his purple cow actually resonates? How does he get real feedback, not just friends saying, "Oh, that's nice"?
Ah, yes. The asking your friends trap leads to blind encouragement. The mom test has a brilliant solution. Don't ask about your idea. Ask about their life in the context of your idea. So Timmy wouldn't ask a YouTuber, "Do you like my platform idea?" No. He'd ask, "What are your biggest challenges monetizing outside of ads?" Or, "Tell me about times you felt frustrated trying to build a loyal community."
Asking about their problems related to the space you're in.
Precisely. It gets you unbiased, useful data, helps you find those blue oceans, low competition, high demand. Even your mom can't really give you blind support if you're just asking about her life, right?
That's smart. Okay, USP nailed down, real data gathered. But people hate being sold to. How does Timmy craft his brand message so it cuts through that resistance?
Great question. Building a story brand offers a framework. Use a specific story structure in your marketing. It bypasses that sales resistance. First, you establish a character. This is your target customer, the YouTuber, in Timmy's case, not your business, because everyone sees themselves as the hero. Then clearly state what that hero wants. Universal stuff, usually wealth, status, impact, relationships. Then introduce the problem they face that your product solves. An external problem, like not monetizing effectively, and an internal one, like feeling unsure about their future. Then your business enters as the guide, the Yoda to their Luke Skywalker. Sharing success stories builds trust. And writing this message well is key. Copywriting secrets is good here, basically. Make your customer the hero of the story in all your marketing.
I love that. The customer is the hero, you're the guide. Okay, so Timmy gets a customer.
Yeah.
How does he maximize the value? You said businesses leave money on the table here.
Oh, tons of money. .com Secrets talks about building a value ladder. Think about your dentist again. Starts with a checkup, right? Then cleaning, maybe whitening, maybe a retainer, eventually cosmetic surgery. Each step is higher value, higher price. If customers have a good experience on the lower rungs, they'll climb. For Timmy, starts with a platform setup. Next rung, maybe advanced monetization coaching. then one-on-one strategy, then a full agency service. If you don't offer these next steps, guess what? They go find a competitor who does. And Expert Secrets even shows how to do mass upsells like with webinars, but keep it feeling personal.
The value ladder makes total sense. But how does Timmy keep finding new customers to start climbing that ladder? How does he drive up demand?
Good point. Oversubscribed is an interesting take. Strategically limit your service and maybe even raise prices to increase demand. Think Rolex. Huge waiting lists, right? They're super selective, sometimes years-long waits, or you just never get the call.
Sounds kind of exclusive, maybe even snobby.
Maybe a little. But does it work? Absolutely. Creates massive desire. If your thing is seen as oversubscribed, suddenly competition isn't such a big worry. You get pricing power. So Timmy could say, only take on X number of new YouTubers per quarter. Highlight the exclusivity. Next back to, don't make me think you want your website and message easy to understand, but for demand. Ironically, you want them thinking about how to get access to your exclusive thing.
Okay, interesting contrast there. Right, let's shift gears to the final pillar, maybe the most crucial for long-term survival. Managing money like the top 1%. This seems to trip up so many otherwise successful people.
It really does. The statistic is alarming. 1 out of 3 people earning over $100,000 a year are still living paycheck to paycheck. It happens in business too.
Wow. Okay, so step 1 for Timmy or anyone is just monitor your finances.
Pretty much. The Total Money Makeover, while aimed at personal finance, has principles that apply directly. The big takeaway: keep a sharp eye on the numbers. Constantly. It's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day, the growth, the excitement, and just lose sight of the financials. Until it's too late. Financial laziness, it's sneakier than, physical laziness. Quick check for Timmy, or for you listening. If all your revenues stop tomorrow, could your business survive for 3 months? If the answer's no, you're financially out of shape.
That's a sobering thought. Okay, monitoring is key. Step 2, remain profitable. You said this is different from just being financially stable.
Yeah, they're related but distinct. So many businesses become these cash-hungry beasts. The entrepreneur pumps all the sales revenue straight back into growth, expenses balloon, and somehow actual profit never seems to materialize. Profit first flips the script. The traditional formula is sales expenses, profit. Profit first says sales profit expense.
Whoa, okay, take profit out first.
Exactly. Decide on a percentage of every single sale that goes immediately into a separate profit account. Then you see what's left for expenses. It forces efficiency. You suddenly realize you can run things leaner than you thought. So Timmy decides, say, 15% of every YouTuber payment goes straight to profit. Untouchable. Then he figures out how to cover costs with the remaining 85%.
That's a simple switch, but sounds powerful. Okay, step 3, plan for taxes. Why is this such a big deal for the wealthy?
Well, the numbers are just staggering. The average U.S. taxpayer spends over $500,000 on taxes in their lifetime. But here's the kicker. The U.S. tax code is massive, over 5,800 pages. But guess how many pages talk about how to pay taxes?
Not many.
30, just 30 pages. The other 5,770 pages, 99.5%, are about how to avoid taxes legally and build wealth, tax breaks, incentives. It's similar in the UK, other Western countries. Governments want to incentivize certain economic activities. That's why having a great accountant who knows how to leverage these breaks is absolutely critical. For Timmy, understanding small business deductions is vital.
Right. It's about playing the game by the rules, but knowing all the rules. Okay, step 4, play your own game. Making decisions based on data, not emotion, or what others are doing.
Exactly. The intelligent investor has this fantastic analogy, Mr. Market. Imagine you have a business partner, Mr. Market. Every single day, he shows up and tells you what he thinks your business is worth. And he's willing to buy your share or sell you his share at that price. Some days, his price seems reasonable, based on facts. Other days, he's wildly optimistic or deeply pessimistic, totally driven by emotion. His price seems crazy.
So the lesson is,
Don't let Mr. Market's daily emotional swings dictate your rational view of your business's true long-term worth. Most people get caught up in the noise, the emotions, fear, and greed. For Timmy, don't panic if a competitor launches something flashy. Don't get euphoric over one good month. Stick to the data, the long-term plan. Rational thinking wins over emotional reaction.
Rationality over reaction. Got it. Okay, last step, and this sounds really interesting, especially as Timmy's business grows. Step 5, mitigating risks.
Yeah, this is huge. Early on, you often need to take big risks. Think fast. But as the business gets bigger, more established, the stakes are higher. You have more to lose. It becomes crucial to slow down, think more deliberately, and mitigate unnecessary risks. I've seen multi-millionaire friends lose everything because they didn't make this shift. Thinking fast and slow explains this brilliantly. Your brain has two systems. System 1, fast, intuitive, emotional. System 2, slow, analytical, logical.
Fast and slow, like intuition versus deliberation.
Exactly. Let me try that riddle on you. A bat and a ball cost $1.05 in total. The bat costs $1 more than the ball. How much does the ball cost?
Okay, bat and ball. $1.10 total. Bat is $1 more, so 10 cents.
See, that's system 1 jumping in. The fast, intuitive answer, most people say 10 cents, but think about it slowly. If the ball is 10 cents, the bat is $1 more, and the total is $1.20. Doesn't work. The correct answer, using system 2, is the ball costs 5 cents, then the bat costs $1.05, $1 more, and the total is $1.10.
Wow, okay. Yeah, my brain definitely went straight to 10 cents. That's actually really insightful. It tripped me up.
It trips up most people, and that's the point. Understanding these two systems helps you recognize when your fast, intuitive system 1 might be leading you to jump to conclusions or take unnecessary risks, especially in bigger business decisions. You need to engage system 2 more often as things scale.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, so bringing this all together, wow. We've covered a huge amount, a real deep dive into insights from almost 1,000 books, distilled into practical strategies, starting, selling, marketing, managing money.
Yeah, and the real power, honestly, is just picking one thing and implementing it. Which step resonates most with you right now? Is it finding your strength, that contrarian idea, building an MVP, setting the sales frame, getting profit first? Just focus on taking action on that one thing first.
That's great advice. These insights really do feel different, more practical than a lot of the stuff out there. They genuinely cut through the noise. And you mentioned the original source also highlighted 5 extra books for people who want to go even deeper.
That's right. 5 more really powerful ones that didn't fit neatly into these 4 pillars, but are definitely worth checking out for further exploration.
Okay, good to know.
So if you're listening and thinking about how to tackle some of the challenges we've talked about today, launching something new, refining what you've got, hopefully these takeaways give you a solid, practical place to start solving those problems.
Absolutely. We genuinely enjoy sharing these kinds of unique, really thoroughly researched insights with you all. So if you found this deep dive valuable, and you want to keep learning from creators who really unpack the practical, effective stuff, then definitely make sure you subscribe to the Original Creators channel. He does fantastic work. You can find links to his channel and maybe some similar content right there in the end screens of this video, or check the link down in the description. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time for another deep dive.